Welcome into our fantasy team review for the 2024 season. We are talking about the Denver Broncos today. A little bit of I don't know. We just talked about the Cowboys, one of the best offenses in the league. They have a couple of multiple top players. Broncos do not have a player being drafted in the first 7 rounds in fantasy football as of right now. It is July 18th. Yeah, it's July 18th, so keep that in mind. Things could change. But their first drafted player, we'll get to him, is Javonte Williams around 8 for half PPR ADP. So kind of crazy. You don't see that very often. I was trying to remember, maybe the Panthers were the same. Deontay was maybe around earlier. It was Deontay Johnson. I forget where he was going exactly, but we're talking about the Broncos today. Rookie quarterback that they drafted in the first round, who people have mixed feelings about it in terms of how he's going to translate to the NFL. I almost didn't make a graphic for him, but I had to because it's the quarterback and you kind of have to. But it's Bo Nix. He's 24 and a half years old. Not really too much to talk about for redraft one quarterback leagues. Superflex, it's different. Dynasty obviously is very different. For redraft one quarterback leagues, which I say majority of people who play redraft are in one quarterback leagues. He's barely being drafted. He is being drafted though, round 16. So potentially your last or second to last round. Anything you want to say on Bo Nix? Is he going to be more of a waiver wire ad if he does well, or should people be drafting him to take a shot?
In a redraft, no, I don't think. I mean, there's better quarterbacks. If you're looking for a second quarterback, so it's something to pay attention to, and stuff like that. He's still going to be a rookie quarterback. So, is he any better than Caleb Williams and JJ McCarthy? No, I don't think so. But, he's got, his coaches, they keep on saying, oh, he's like Drew Brees and all this other stuff and everything else. So it's something to pay attention to. So
yeah, and he's potentially in a system that's gonna, he's gonna dink and dunk it, and that could be good for fantasy for him. But I just don't know if he has enough playmakers around him to. I don't know. We don't even know if he's gonna be the starter, like you mentioned before the show. Jarrett Stidham's listed as the starter. I don't think that's going to be the case.
I get a little worried about his downfield ability. So,
yeah.
I know what he's doing at Oregon. I don't know. So, good coaches help good players and, and stuff like that. So it's something.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The running backs are interesting here because I think there's incredible value for the running backs because it's Sean Payton's system. Normally running backs with Sean Payton are kind of fantasy gold. They were with the Saints for all those years. The problem is we just don't know where the value is going to come from. And I have no idea. It sounds like, we got the report a month ago or so about Javonte Williams. He might not even make the team. That's what, one of the guys, Cecil Lammey, I think it was, who's kind of in the know with the Broncos, kind of said, like, he might not even make the team type of thing.
I don't understand that. So,
yeah, I mean, he just might not fit Sean Payton's system, might not like him, but he's the first Broncos player, fantasy-wise, being drafted, first running back being drafted, 96th overall, round 8 as RB30. You see the numbers there. Rookie year, he was solid, splitting time with Melvin Gordon. Everyone is hyped up on him in 2022, and then he tore multiple ligaments in his knee after week 3 or 4, came back in 2023. We expected a slow start. And we were surprised he was out there week 1. I think he played every game last year. We expected a slow start. And then when we expected to see something like the old Javonte, we just never did, unfortunately. We never did. He averaged 3.5 yards per attempt. He did catch 40 passes, which Sean Payton's system, they're going to have a lot of running back catches. They always lead the league in target percentage to running backs. But he just wasn't efficient. He averaged 4.85 yards per reception. Just nothing was just efficient about him. So what do you think of Javonte now, where he's going at a place where he's maybe your last starter or your first bench guy. Like, are you kind of in on him as potentially your RB3, or do you want to just avoid this or go for more value somewhere else?
I think I would be in on him. I guess and we're talking that we know that he's at least on the team, and stuff like that. And I can't believe, Denver would get rid of him. There's no financial reason. There's no,
could trade him.
Yeah, they could. And, we just talked about, recently we talked about the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going, hey, why are they going with Zeke Elliott and stuff like that? Just think of Javonte Williams on the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Tell me what people would be coming out of their underwear on that one, So, so the guy, he just now we're a year past the injury. That's always buzzwords we hear on TV and radio and stuff like that. And it was kind of surprising. He had a major knee injury, and he was even, that he was even playing, at week 1 last year. So it's like,
yeah, 100%. 100%. I have a feeling, again, we're recording this on July 18th, so training camps haven't even started yet. I think Houston is starting this week or something, but and rookies. I have a feeling when we do kind of the go over, late August, what's changed type of thing, we're going to be talking about this situation where it stands right now. If he stays in this ADP and he's going to be on the Broncos, I don't mind drafting him here, because I do still think he has the potential. His advanced stats and stuff like that coming out of college were like, no one really, he was better than like guys like Bijan and Breece Hall and things like that. Like, he was like legit one of the best, advanced metric type of player. And we saw it on the field year 1 when he was splitting time. He was just literally splitting time with Melvin Gordon. So part of me thinks he can get back to that, and whether he gets traded or not. But if he's on this team, I'm fine with him in round 8. I'm a little bit worried, but I think I'm okay with it, because I do think there's value, again, in this Denver backfield. And I just don't think some of these other guys we're going to be talking about profile as replacing Javonte. One of them is the next guy, Jaleel McLaughlin, who came on the scene, undrafted guy last year, almost 24 years old. He's going in round 13, and he got some hype. He got a hype piece there. I think it was in when the whole Javonte potentially might not be on the team. It was like Jaleel McLaughlin's the number 1 guy, right? So we could be just completely overlooking Jaleel McLaughlin as like, oh crap, he's the lead guy for the Broncos. So like, I'm kind of in on him as well, just to take a chance on him as in round 13. Again, this could easily change as we progress through training camp, and I expect it to change. Problem is, I don't know if he profiles as like an every down back. He's 5'8", 187. He could just be a little bit more like, change of pace type of guy, more than he is like, a workhorse. But he had some decent stats last year. He had some flashes last year. He averaged 5.4 yards a carry, had 400 yards rushing, caught 31 passes for 160 yards. So Jaleel McLaughlin, Dad, any would you take a chance on him here, round 13, going so late?
Yeah, probably not.
No, even in round 13?
Maybe, I don't know. It just depends on what other running backs are there and stuff like that. There's just too much we don't know, about Denver and stuff like that. And they're and I think we've seen Sean Payton in New Orleans with multiple backs too. There was other guys there, Kamara, and remember when they had Kamara and Mark Ingram, and then there was
Pierre Thomas,
some other running backs.
Pierre Thomas and Darren Sproles.
Yeah, Pierre Thomas. That's who I was thinking of. So So having multiple running backs, I think is, that they use. I can see that in Denver. So, but I don't know if going back to the original question. No, I'm not sure that I would be in on.
Yeah,
they even drafted a rookie. So.
Yeah, we're gonna get to him. Yeah, it's just the thing that makes me want to get anyone. It's round 13, so if it stays that way, okay, he doesn't do well, I'll just cut him, right? And again, we go back and we're looking for even, they had years there where they were using all three of those guys. They were using, Darren Sproles, 87 carries, Pierre Thomas, 110, Mark Ingram, 122, Chris Ivory, 80. That was in 1 year.
Yeah, Chris Ivory, okay.
And then those guys, 86 catches for Darren Sproles, 50 for Pierre Thomas, stuff like that. So there's just value. There's so many attempts and touches are going to go to the running backs through catches and carries. So many, especially with the rookie quarterback, who, by the way, dumps the ball off. That's what he's known for, like the dink and duck player. So I just think even if he's a 40% snap share guy, we could be looking at Jaleel McLaughlin and being like, holy crap, he had 150 carries and 60 catches, and he averaged 5 yards per carry, and he had 1,100 total yards with 60 catches. I wouldn't be.
He kind of reminds me of the Pittsburgh running back,
Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I know it's hard to project it, but again, when it is hard to project, when there's a little bit of ambiguity to these backfields or wide receiver rooms, when I see that and I say, well, this is potentially the starting, the guy who's going to get the most touches for the Broncos, and he's in round 13. He's going around J.K. Dobbins, Tyler Algier, Ray Davis, Bucky Irving, Roshan John. We're talking about legit backups here, and that's where he's going. You're not going to find a guy who has the potential to be the number one guy without an injury in this range. So I guess that's why I am okay with taking him and see what happens. And, Sean Payton makes these guys work, whether they're super talented or not. The rookie you're talking about is Audric Estime. He's actually technically, if you play in, if you have 17 rounds in your fantasy draft, he is being drafted. He's ADP 199.
He had foot surgery or something coming out of. Yeah. So he's already not going to be ready for training camp, I think.
And he had a knee injury in OTAs.
When?
In OTAs this year. Not
okay. Well, maybe I was. I thought the foot.
I think he did have a foot thing. I think he did, but he got a knee injury again. It wasn't an ACL or anything, but he missed the rest of OTAs. I don't know. I'm not a big Audric Estime fan. The guy's super slow. I think at the combine he ran a 4.7 something, which is really slow for a
he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's huge. So if he is going to play the Mark Ingram role, I guess he could. I guess he's the one guy that I think could take Javonte off the field as the between the tackles guy. But I don't know. I don't really see it with him. This is going to be, again, we're going to have to reevaluate this at the end of training camp and see what's going on here. But that's what makes me think Javonte is going to, I just think he's better than Estime. So, Samaje Perine's still there. By the way, Samaje Perine caught 50 passes. There's just so many opportunities for these guys. We're talking about Javonte Williams, who I mentioned, caught 47 passes. Samaje Perine caught 50. Yeah, so there's 100 already. Jaleel McLaughlin also caught 30 himself. 130 receptions to these guys. And that's not just last year. That's not just a Russell Wilson thing. That's a Sean Payton thing. So, Perine's going to be there. Potentially, I think he actually could be cut. Honestly, there's no cap room or hit there. So, and then Blake Watson's an undrafted guy who I really like as a dynasty deep stash. So if you want to stash him, go for it. The receivers now is another topic, nothing super exciting. Cortland Sutton is actually the second Bronco being drafted in fantasy drafts. 28.7 years old, 103rd overall in round 9, wide receiver 47. You see the numbers there, points per game, not super impressive. He did average 10 points per game last year. He was barely a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 36, and he caught 10 touchdowns. That's really hard to do. It's really, really hard to do, to catch 10 touchdowns and not even be a solid wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 2 even. It's hard to do it not even being a wide receiver 2, to be honest. But that's the case here. And I guess I'll start here. I'm out on Cortland Sutton. I don't want Cortland Sutton. I don't think he's going to be a difference maker here. Looking around where, other receivers, where he's going, Roma Dunze is going around Cortland Sutton. I'll take the upside of a Dunze. Keon Coleman, I'll take that chance. Jamison Williams, I'll take that chance. Curtis Samuel, who I think could lead the Broncos in targets. It's just, do we expect more than 3,000 passing yards or 3,300 passing yards from Bo Nix this year? I don't.
No.
That's like the ceiling for me. 26 touchdowns.
Not at all.
More or less.
Yeah.
What would you say for touchdowns? More or less 26.
What I'm saying? Sorry, say the number again.
26 touchdowns for.
Yeah, I would be under.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be at.
Yeah.
If he hit 20.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be,
100%. Oh, yeah. If he gets over 25, he's like one of 5 quarterbacks in NFL history to throw 25 or more as a rookie, 5 or 6. Right. So his over-under, according to Vegas, is I see 16.5 and 18.5. So I think that's a little bit safer of a bet there. So I guess my point is, we don't expect what Russell Wilson did last year. What do we expect from Cortland Sutton, really? So you have any differing views on Cortland Sutton? And
not really. I was looking at the rest of their wide receiver group, and there's kind of a mishmash of guys here. So none of them stand out fantasy-wise, but, I don't. Do you want me to continue or?
Yeah, go ahead if you want. Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin.
Well, we got Marvin Mims. Tim Patrick, who's had unfortunately 2 bad knee injuries. They got Josh Reynolds, who played on the Lions the past few years, and also with the Rams. And they drafted a guy, Troy Franklin, who was round 4. That was Bo Nix's main guy in Oregon.
Yep.
So who knows what's going to come out of that?
Yep.
Who the hell's even going to be playing? Who's going to be the favorite guy and stuff like that? So,
I mean, if I had to guess, geez. It's definitely, you're going to have Sutton out there. It's like, okay, who's going to be the other outside receiver? Is it Reynolds or is it Tim Patrick? Yeah, it's good that you bring those guys up, because I do think the only other two to really talk about for fantasy is Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims. They're both young players. Troy Franklin's a rookie. He's going round 15 in ADP. Marvin Mims, second-year guy, round 16 in ADP. I really like Troy Franklin coming out of college. He didn't get the draft capital we liked, but he does get paired with Bo Nix. He's intriguing to maybe take a shot on, but I just feel like I don't expect much from him within the first couple of weeks, and you're probably just going to cut him after that. Marvin Mims is interesting because he's very explosive. So I think if you're going to play this dink and dunk type of offense, he could be the guy that could take a screen pass to the house type of thing. But with a rookie quarterback, we know Cortland Sutton's going to probably lead the team in targets. We know Josh Reynolds is going to get looks. We know Tim Patrick's going to get looks. Just how much is there really to go around for all these guys, and including 30% of the passes going to running backs. So, Any I don't know. Any other notes on either Franklin or Mims, or are you just going to pass on all these guys?
Franklin is interesting. I read somewhere who's going to be this year's Puka Nakua, and I go Troy Franklin, and it's just like, yeah, okay, we'll see. But Troy Franklin did it in college, so we'll see if that equates to making it happen in the NFL. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't mind taking a shot on one of them, just because I think there's some upside. I don't really see the upside with anyone else. So, and then the tight end, I mean, Greg Dulcich is the first one being drafted, but he's not even being drafted. He's round 20, and most fantasy redraft leagues don't have 20 rounds, so not much to say there either. Everyone got excited about him. Oh, he's going to play the Joker role, and in Sean Payton's offense, and then the dude did nothing because he can't stay healthy.
He's just looking at ESPN's depth chart for the Broncos. Dulcich isn't even number one tight end. So
no, it's Troutman, right?
It's Adam Troutman.
Yep.
So
who Sean Payton loves?
Huh?
That's who Sean Payton loves. That guy.
Adam Troutman. Yeah, he was with the New Orleans Saints. And stuff,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's nothing really to talk. I mean, if Dulcich does make a splash, then you can pick him off waivers. So
yeah,
kind of tough here. Kind of a tough team to talk about. Unfortunately, like we said, when you only have 2 guys going in the first 10 rounds, and your first guy's not until round 8. That just shows you like this could be one of the worst teams in the NFL offensively, but maybe not. Maybe not. Next up, we have your team, Dad, the Detroit Lions. So we get a good run here of Lions, Packers, Texans, Colts. I think that's a good run of teams to talk about. So Lions will be up next, and we will catch you all in that video.